In general, in regard to France, we often think of, football, perfume, fashion, cuisine such as wine and baguettes. Are they really an accurate description of France? And what do these things tell us about France?
Well, there are a lot of cliches about about France. There are also a lot of cliches about Thailand.
Yes.
I think every country suffers from a number of cliches. But in every cliche there is some truth. We would like also our friends to perceive France not only as through these simplified images, but as a global player and also a land of innovation. France is the country of nuclear industry, space industry, high-speed train. This is part also of my ongoing priorities to try to convince people that France is not only football, baguette, perfume, Eiffel Tower, but also a land of opportunities if you want to go for innovation, industry, high tech.
เสรีภาพเสมอภาคภรดรภาพคำขวัญนี้ของฝรั่งเศสหมายความว่าอย่างไรวัฒนธรรมในแง่มุมต่างๆของประเทศฝรั่งเศสมีอะไรบ้างและการทูตของไทยฝรั่งเศสที่มีมาหลายร้อยปีแล้วนะครับมีความเป็นมาอย่างไรชวนไปหาคำตอบพร้อมๆกันกับท่านเอกอัครราชทูตฝรั่งเศสประจำประเทศไทยชองโกลดพ่วงเบิร์ฟAmbassador, it's a great pleasure to be here with you today, and it's a great pleasure to be in your residence next to the Chao Phraya River. I hope we can discuss a lot of things from the intricacies of French culture, the values in French society, as well as the cooperation between France and Thailand. First of all, you've been here as French ambassador to Thailand. How has your time been in Thailand so far, and what have been your impressions of Thailand?
First of all, let me welcome you at the French residence, and also Sawadee Krab. Very pleased to have you here in this beautiful place. I think we will talk about it later. So yes, I have been here in Thailand for just over a year now. Arrived in late September 2023, and actually, when I'm asked this question, I often recall that this is my second time in Thailand, because I was here 35 years ago. So I had no problem adjusting to a country that I knew well already, having lived for 1 year a long time ago, and having visited also your beautiful country many times in between. So my first impressions were, wow, many things have changed here in Thailand, especially the urban landscape. And as we will see later when we tour the embassy, the landscape just across the river tells you how much Bangkok has changed. More constructions, more high-rise buildings, better infrastructure, better public transport system. Very positive impressions. Bangkok is an easy city to live in, and I think most people who live here are very happy about their life.
Now, moving on to French culture, I think Thai people would like to learn more, as well as people from other countries as well would like to learn more about French culture. So how would you best describe French culture? What would be the best definition of it?
We could talk for hours about French culture, but to make it simple, I think the best way to define it is maybe first to say that it is a mix of heritage and creativity. Heritage, because we are very keen on preserving old buildings, old castles, chateaux in French, old churches, all kinds of monuments that have been built over the centuries. But what is, I think, even as important is the creativity that you can find in performing arts, music, dance, in visual arts. So that's one aspect. The other important aspect is that France, as a country located at crossroads in Europe, has benefited from influences from surrounding countries. I don't know whether a lot of people know that France is a big country for world music. World music, a lot of people think first of England, London, but Paris is probably just as important for world music, because we have all these artists coming from all over the world. Up to now, France is attracting all these international artists because they enjoy a total freedom of creation. And that may be the third feature that defines French culture, freedom of expression. You basically can do whatever you want, and that is, I think, favorable for creativity. And maybe the final aspect, if I don't want to be too long, is that France has also regional features. It's not the same in the north and in the south, in the west or in the east. A bit like Thailand, your culture has different features, if you go up north or Isan or southern Thailand. So it's the same. When you go to Provence, in the south of France, there is a very distinctive culture. If you go to Alsace, which is at the border of Germany, the culture will also be different. If you go to Brittany, you will have Celtic influence. So that also defines French culture, local and regional variety.
Still, in terms of culture, could you share some of your personal experiences in France culturally? For example, what are some of your favorite films?
My wife and I, we love to go to the movies. And when we were in France, we would go 2 or 3 times a week. You have multiplexes here, but we also do in France, and they have systems where you can go, when you buy a kind of subscription, you can go as many times as you wish. So strong encouragement to watch movies. So we are very eclectic. We like French movies because we have a very active, strong French film industry. But we love to go and see movies from all around the world. From Japan, I have a Japanese wife, so we like to see Japanese movies. The old Hollywood movies from the 40s, the 50s, for us they were the best. Films like Hitchcock, Billy Wilder, Lubitsch. These are some of our favorites. But we sometimes are even more adventurous, and like we enjoy movies from Iran. They are very interesting. They say a lot about Iranian society. Hard to pick up just one or two of my favorite movies, but I would say it's more art movies. And I'm glad that here in Thailand we can see some of them.
I have a few favorite directors from France as well. Jean-Luc Godard, for example. And my favorite would be Eric Romer.
So you are also very much into serious movies. So lots of dialogues and people, thinking. So more on the intellectual side. Also like Truffaut, François Truffaut. He's also one of the major directors from what we call, the new wave, la nouvelle vague, with Godard and Romer. They were all part of this new wave that appeared in the early 60s. If you have an opportunity, I strongly encourage you to watch François Truffaut's movie.
Back to a bit of the cliche. France is often perceived worldwide as romantic, intellectual, in filmmaking as well, or simply beautiful. What do you think are the key factors driving this success story, if you say so?
I would say objective factors. When you say that France is beautiful, it's true. When you travel in France, you must be struck by the variety of landscapes. Our geography, is like this, and this is, I think, why it attracts so many tourists from around the world. France is number one in the world, attracting more than 80 million people. That is more than its own population. And when you say it's romantic, I think romantic people, they want to have a beautiful setting for their love story, and I think Paris is the perfect setting for lovers, because it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It's not boasting that the figures just show that Paris is very attractive, and I hope that you could see last summer some of the Paris Olympic games, which showcased some of the most beautiful aspects of Paris.
So you mentioned the Summer Olympic Games in Paris. In the opening ceremony, there were a lot of displays of the French national motto, Liberté, Égalité and Fraternité. When the French speak of this motto, what do they actually mean?
You probably know that this is deeply rooted in the French political culture since the French Revolution. So that's centuries ago. All these ideas were developed by French philosophers in the 18th century, Rousseau, Diderot, Voltaire, major French writers who developed these ideas, which were the foundation of the French Revolution. And if you read, the major documents from that time, especially the Declaration of Human Rights and Civil Rights, this is the foundation of maybe the modern democratic culture, not only in France but all over the world. We have inspired other countries to use that. So this, what is in our motto, is consubstantial to our political culture. It's inscribed in our constitution. I think most French people are very attached to these values.
Could you give us some more examples of the French government's policies regarding these principles domestically as well as globally?
Domestically, I gave you already these examples, but if you go back to freedom, there's have been for over a century freedom of the press, and I don't think that many countries enjoy that much freedom. I know that some people, not in France but outside France, don't like it because we can basically criticize whoever we want. Equal rights, maybe one of the latest examples, and I'm happy that Thailand has recently followed suit when we said that people have equal rights. That also applies to people who have different sexual orientations, and you may know that we have had in France legislation to allow people of same sex to get married, and we have shared this experience with Thailand, including Thai legislators and Thai scholars. Now you also have this very important bill allowing equal marriage for Thai people. This is an example of how far we have come. Your question was also about how globally. So France is one of the strongest promoters of these values on the world scene. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as I said, was very much inspired by our own documents and also by the American Revolution. These were almost parallel events at the end of the 18th century. We are strong promoters of human rights. This is part of our diplomacy. We speak in favor of human rights wherever in the world. We are as active as possible in the multilateral frameworks. By the way, I'm very happy that Thailand was elected at the Human Rights Council not so long ago with the support of my country, because we also want Thailand to play a bigger role promoting human rights here in Thailand and outside.
Now, this residence that we're sitting in today, as you said, is historically significant, especially to the diplomatic relations between France and Thailand. Could you tell us more about the history of it?
So, as I said, we have been here since the very beginning in the mid-19th century, when we signed a treaty of friendship, commerce and navigation back in 1856. So this at the beginning was both the office and the residence. At first it was not an embassy, it was a consulate. At the end of the 19th century, a legation, and then after World War II, full-fledged embassy. But what is important is that we have always been here in this piece of land. There are not many houses like that left in Thailand. Glad to introduce to your audience the house. What we do also regularly is to open the house to the general public. We have done that in the past on the occasion of what we call heritage days. More importantly, we have to preserve them because, as I said at the beginning, Bangkok has changed so fast and sometimes at the expense of its history and heritage. But I think your visitors, what they want to see is not only the modern side of Bangkok. They also want some history, and Bangkok has a very rich history, and we are very privileged to be part of it.
I would like to know first, what's it like to be a diplomat, serving the government of France in general? What's your experience? Could you tell us more about it?
Well, I have done this job for more than 40 years. To do this job, I think you have to be very adaptable because every 3 or 4 years, you go to a different country or you deal with different issues. So you need to be adaptable, but at the same time, I think the positive aspect is that you never really do the same thing over the years because every country is different. Even when you come back to a country where you have served, like it's my case here in Thailand, things are very different from 35 years ago. So you have to adapt to new situations, and it's a very enjoyable job. And the other positive aspect of being a diplomat is that you happen to meet a lot of very different people from all walks of life, from high society to young people to people who live in the country, sometimes in very difficult situations. Personally, it's very enriching. You learn a lot by meeting all these different people.
Now, moving on to the bilateral relations between France and Thailand. These two countries have had a long diplomatic history. Could you give us a brief overview of the relations?
It may be difficult to give a brief overview when you have had such a long relationship. It was not Thailand, but Siam at the time. It was the first country where we sent diplomatic missions. It will be 340 years next year when King Louis XIV sent his first diplomatic mission to the court of Siam in those days. So we have had this very old relationship. Sometime later, and this is also an anniversary that we will celebrate in 2026, we established our diplomatic relations 170 years ago. We are having cooperations in every field: political, economic, cultural, scientific. Maybe the best is to give example. If you look at culture, French culture has been quite present since early days here. We also have welcomed thousands of Thai students in France to study, in particular, law, but also archaeology, social sciences, business, and engineering. Every year we have around 500 Thai students studying in France. We also have a network of 7 French schools here in Thailand who welcome a lot of Thai students. So education is one field where we have this very strong cooperation. Science also, French scientists have been part of research and education also in this country for a very long time. You may know that some of your most famous temples like Pimai or Panumrong have been researched and restored by French scientists long time ago. And we still have research centers who work actively in Thailand on Thai history, Thai religion. There are many examples of these cooperations that are maybe not known to the general public, but which are active and important for our two countries.
Wrapping up with this last question, here as ambassador to Thailand, what do you wish to achieve during your tenure, and could you share about some of your proud moments in your career here in Thailand?
What I want to achieve here is what our political authorities have agreed upon. You remember that our president came to Bangkok in November 2022. He was invited by the Thai chair of APEC, the APEC summit, but he made a bilateral visit in that time. And also your prime minister, the former prime minister, Khun Seta, went to France in March and May. And on these occasions, our two leaders decided that Thailand and France should go for a strategic partnership. Going for a strategic partnership means going further in terms of cooperation, mainly in defense and security field, but also in the economic field. My objective is to keep working with our Thai partners on these different fields to elevate the relationship. So it's a very positive perspective for an ambassador to see that our political authorities are willing to elevate the relationship, and it could not be a better time for me to come back to Thailand. I'm very happy to serve as French ambassador to Thailand and to welcome people like you in this beautiful residence.